Moms for Liberty really worked miracles.
We have a crisis in America in public education. This is the future of our kids and our country.
You are joyful warriors.
And we are just getting started. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to all you joyful warriors. Today we're sharing a best of 2025 episode, revisiting one of our most loved conversations, Jenn Turner's Am I a Racist? Jenn shares how she became a mom activist, and it began when her biracial son was giving a very concerning assignment. Thank you for tuning in each week. I hope you and your family have a wonderful holiday season filled with love and joy. We'll be back live on January 7th with the Fire of Liberty show. Tune in on all social media accounts. Good morning. Welcome to the Fire of Liberty show. I'm Tina Deskovich, the CEO and co-founder of Moms for Liberty. And we bring you warriors from the front line of this culture war each week. This week, we have Jenn Turner, one of my favorite people in the whole wide world. She is our chapter chair in our Polk County, Iowa chapter, which is Des Moines. It's to cover Des Moines too, Des Moines-ish. And
It is Des Moines.
It's Des Moines. And she is our ultimate joyful warrior. And I say that because Jenn actually won our annual Joyful Warrior Award in 2023. And hopefully we'll talk about that a little bit later. Jenn, you want to introduce yourself a little bit more? Tell us stuff about yourself, your family, your life. Who are you? What do you do? What's your hobbies?
Well, I'm actually just a pretty simple person. I'm a mom. I have one son who is 14 years old now. It's crazy to me that he's 14 years old. I feel like I've been doing this 100 years, but I haven't.
Yeah. And for those watching at home, he's actually in the studio this morning watching live. Jenn is the first guest on the Fire of Liberty show that brought a whole entourage. We have mom and dad and son, and I have met Cooper. I think I've known him for 3 years now. And he walked in last time I saw him, he was a little boy, and now he towers over me. So yes. More about yourself. Do you work? Do you have a job? Are you married? What's your story?
I am not married. Never been married. My life was kind of a series of bad decisions.
Are we putting out a
taking applications until I had Cooper. That was my first good decision in my life.
Oh
so
my gosh, that is probably not true, but he is a good decision.
Yeah, he was. And then I work full time. I sell flooring. Lots of new construction, so get to do all the fun design stuff. And honestly, I work, I mom, I drive back and forth from football and basketball and all the different camps and sports things. And
any Jenn hobbies?
Moms for Liberty.
Being an activist is your hobby?
I don't know that there's time for much more.
Yeah.
We have lots of fun in Iowa. So
do you have one job?
I do have one job. Every once in a while, I've been known to be a Grubhub or DoorDash on the weekends to get by. You know, It helps with the groceries.
Yeah.
So,
you're like, why are you asking me about that? I think because it's important for people to know that you're not some elitist somewhere who, is sitting in a big, huge, glamorous $1 million home.
Right. I made Cooper and I pack in just our personal item bag to not pay for a carry-on to come down.
Are you serious?
We've gotten really good at being as
thrifty.
Cheap as possible.
Thrifty.
Oh, thrifty.
You're thrifty.
All right. Yeah.
That's good.
I know. I said, hey, Cooper, I didn't pay for us to sit together on the plane. And he said, what?
Are you serious?
I'm like,
you're 14 now.
You're my kid. They'll put us together in the back row.
Did they put you together?
Yes.
What airline? We'll give them a shout out here.
Allegiant Airline.
Fantastic. Oh, Allegiant put you together. That's great.
Put us together.
Oh yeah, Allegiant is affordable, and they go into Sanford, and
correct.
So yeah.
Yeah, and my parents left me. They orphaned me to move to the other warmer free state of Florida. So I called them and said, "Hey, what do you do on June 4th? Want to come to a podcast?" So we're doing a little family vacation this week.
It's so great. I love it. And I love seeing your family. So welcome. We are thrilled to have you here at the Fire of Liberty show. And we're going to talk about before we talk about your story, we put up the advertisement for your story last night. And it's a pretty provocative, I would say, title we put on this episode. Am I a racist?
Apparently so, based on the comments. I do feel weird being on this show and not on the other end because I'm always watching, and I get to start out with my hello joyful warriors.
Oh yeah,
and so
you do that.
I didn't get to do that. So hello joyful warriors.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, no, the comments.
Somebody put that in the comments right now. Hello, joyful warriors. Because Jen's going to be sad if she's reading the comments later. And so the comments this morning when I woke up, just on the advertisement. Have you seen this?
I went to bed. That's something you shouldn't go to bed reading.
Yeah, no kidding.
So, but I know I'm not a racist. So then they're entertaining. I mean, they're kind of entertaining because then I also am like, did any of those people tune in to find out if I am actually a racist?
Right.
So,
yeah, if you go read the comments, if you're bored at home right now, you could go down to the post from yesterday, I think, announcing this on Facebook. I'm not sure how it did on other social media outlets, but on Facebook, it really was quite ridiculous. People saying, of course you are. Yes, you're a racist. Yes, they don't know you. They don't know a thing about you. Yes, you're a racist. I don't even have to watch it. I'm not even going to watch it. And I know you're a racist. And so I just thought this is the problem with America right now.
Very open-minded. So.
I should have titled your episode, Am I Sarcastic?
I know. That's why I was nervous. Like, well, people it's just my humor. I'm a little dry, little sarcasm. So
yeah, you're well loved within Moms for Liberty though. So I think either we're all
dry
and of the same humor, or we get you.
Yeah.
These are your people for sure.
They are my people.
So I came to Iowa February of 2020 something, and was my first time ever in the great state of Iowa, and I decided to go in February.
Yeah. Remember when I said my parents moved to the warmer Free State? Yeah. -5. Is that what
it was? -8 when I landed. Yeah.
And that's nothing.
And
we were like not wearing coats.
You were not.
I bought you mittens.
You did. Oh, you did buy me mittens, and I needed them. I brought my heaviest coat, scarf, gloves, all the things. And I remember standing thinking, I feel like I don't have an ounce of clothes on. The cold just went through your whole body. And for those that haven't been to Des Moines, it's interesting because you actually never have to go outside. There's tunnels, like not tunnels, skywalks.
I'm like, those are called skywalks. So do you not have those in Florida?
Of course not. Yeah, no, even our schools are outdoors here. You open your classroom door and you're outside here. There's no...
I'm going to work on that next legislative session. Tunnels into the schools so that the kids don't have to walk outside.
Well, the skywalks. Anyway, so Iowa is a great place, but it's really, really, really cold there.
Yeah, but not for very long.
So while I was there, we did a town hall, and we don't need to talk about any of that, but we did do a leadership training, if you remember, and we did a tell us your why.
Oh, it's my favorite moment.
Yeah, it was. I had a migraine. I don't think anybody cares about this, and so I was a terrible leader that day, and I just let everyone talk, and we ended up doing 4 hours of
Was it only 4?
of what everybody's whys were, and
Yeah.
so we laugh and we joke, and it was a very long why session, but some of those whys were very emotional, and it was early on in the fight, and so I want to start not a 4-hour why, but I'd like to.
How much time do we have here?
Why are you an activist?
Well, I ask myself that often, but Cooper, my son, is 1000% my why. And I just got to a point where I'm like, if not me, then who? Like, who's going to stand up for him? But that's my job, right? I'm the mom. So I didn't know where it was going to take me. And it was by accident that this all came about, but 1000% Cooper. I'm going to call him a man Cooper now. He may only be 14, but he's taller than me. I'm still trying to figure that one out as he's sitting over there. Tell me about Cooper, because he's a pretty cool kid from the interactions I've had with him. Tell me about him. He's a very cool kid, and he's a really good kid. I think that my parents probably wish that he gave me a little more trouble so that I could relive what I did to them. But here we are.
Every parent wishes that, but right? That's every parent's wish.
I think maybe they were praying for a girl. Have a girl, so you can relive this. But he is just a genuinely good person. Athletic, loves his sports, loves Jesus, and he's just good.
What kind of relationship do you and Cooper have? I was a single mother for a couple of years when my oldest was young, and we have a special bond from that time period because it's like the two of you against the world sometimes. And so do you feel like you and Cooper have that same?
1000%. We talk about just about everything, I hope, Cooper.
So you think. When he's 25, he's going to be like, I never told you this, that, and the other. But
I know, you hear that you're not supposed to be your kids' friends. We parent our kids.
Right.
It's really difficult because I don't have to do a whole lot of direction. He's good. And we just started early with learning respect. And I don't ever really have to get mad at him because it started so early. Just the look of me being disappointed in him was enough. And that's it. So obviously we have the homework talks and, all the things, but all in all, he's a good kid. And so I do get to be his parent, but I also get to be his friend. And I'm excited about that.
Yeah. Wait till he's grown. My oldest is 24 now, and it's such a great relationship as they're adults to really be able to just be their friend at that point. Actually, I'm going to backstep that one. The parenting job never ends.
Right. Yes.
But it's a whole lot even less as they're adults. So it's great. So the topic of, as we said, this episode is, am I a racist? And so people are probably wondering, how does that fit into the story at all? And it's interesting that you talked about Cooper and you talked about all his great qualities and how he loves Jesus and how he's a good kid and makes good choices and is an athlete. You never talked about the color of his skin or his ethnicity in any way, shape, or form. So I want to talk about that a little bit. It's a hard conversation, I think. I think it's uncomfortable. Nobody wants to have these conversations, especially two white women sitting in a podcast studio. Yeah. But if we don't have these conversations and have them publicly and make it okay to have this conversation, then it doesn't ever get better. It's always something you can't really talk about, and you can't. And that's, we're going to talk about why the minute you said something, you got attacked relentlessly.
Yeah.
And so when did the conversation around race or ever even come up in your home? Like, when did that start? How old was Cooper? Just give us a little insight there.
What I will say, you say that it's uncomfortable conversation, and lots of people think it's uncomfortable. It's not uncomfortable for me because I know I'm right.
I love that.
This is.
Yeah.
Race was never a topic of conversation until, because I think I said to you at one point, I'm like, he's just my son. Like my son is biracial, but I don't think we've said right.
It.
I know.
I'm
like, my son is biracial. His dad is black and I'm white. And I never referred to him as biracial until I had to start talking about this because he's just my son.
Of course.
And I think the race started, I remember the first conversation we had about race, and he had to have been second or third grade. And it was, he came home and he asked me if he could take a DNA test. And I went, listen, kid, I know who your dad is and I am your mom. There is no need. And he said, no, I'm hoping that it can tell me how black I am. His skin is lighter like mine. And he was hoping that the DNA test could tell him, he was wishing that his skin was darker like his dad. So somehow at 8 years old, he thought a DNA test could tell him how black he was. Because being white, he was ashamed of the white part of him.
Why? Did you ever figure out where that conversation came? Like, what inspired an 8-year-old to?
Well, not until later, right? At that point, I thought, okay, what conversations are these kids having at school?
Something he has a friend who somebody he idolizes that's black, other than his dad, a friend, and he's like, oh, I want to be more like him. He's a kid, so
right? Or like, what am I doing wrong as a white person that he doesn't want to be like me? Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I had no. I don't know. It just didn't dawn on me until things transpired in school that I really started paying attention. There were just weird conversations. Once we were driving home and he asked me if there were 3 people that I could bring back to life from the past. And I don't remember who
Normal
I
conversation
answered,
between parent and child.
Right. I don't remember who I answered. And I don't remember two of his, but one was George Washington. And then he stopped himself and he said, no, never mind. George Washington had slaves. I don't want to bring him back. At second grade, that's very strange to me that that's the one thing he knows about George Washington, that he has slaves. Still, it didn't dawn on me, that.
Yeah, it takes a number of these light bulb, these moments. And I don't think you're unique in that at all. Even if I go back to my story, people say, how did you get involved and started in this? And it's, I was so involved in school, but it was this lesson came home about Christopher Columbus being wanted. And then this lesson came home. And then, and your brain is like, that something doesn't sound like, something's not right here. Something's not right here. And then it starts adding up. It sounds like it's the same thing for you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So then we go into COVID. I know that's lots of people's fight going into this. It wasn't. I'm like, I'll sign a mask exemption and move on, right? Put our kids in school. But we were hybrid school at the time for a lot of, this would have been 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And the Iowa Standard, I'll give a shout out to the Iowa Standard because it's where I get most of my news in Iowa.
What's his name?
Jacob Hall.
Yeah, he's great.
He is fantastic most of the time.
Oh,
no. He's great. And that's where I get a lot of news. He does it on Facebook. And I remember waking up one morning and there was an article that, like a teaser. Johnston parents, beware of what your kids were learning in school today. So I'm like, give it to me. So then later the article comes out and there was a story about a virtual field trip they'd be going on that day. A kids play about racism. And I read the article, and the one thing that stood out to me the most was in the article, it must have been whoever gave him the story, said that they had emailed the school and said, why were we not notified about this virtual field trip? And the school emails back, well, it's virtual. We don't need permission. And the parent says, but we signed one for the virtual Nutcracker. So at that point, I'm like, why do they not want our parents to know?
Yeah.
And my kid is not one that likes attention or all eyes on him. And so, he doesn't like people to watch him open Christmas presents, right? So I'm thinking, what is this play? And so I pulled it up on YouTube and I watched it. And it's hi, my name is Jamal. My mom is white and my dad is black. And that makes me different. And immediately I went, I'm not sending my kid to school today to sit in. Now all of a sudden my kid is different than the rest of the kids. Why? Because his mom is white and his dad is black. That I'm not doing it. I did email his class, his teacher, and it was not in his particular school that was happening. But I made the mistake. It wasn't a mistake, but I shared the Iowa Standard story on a page in my community. And I immediately became the most racist.
Did you make a comment when you shared it?
I shared the post. And when I shared the post, the caption was something from the play about living on stolen land. So that's what people saw, but then they could click on the article and read it. But no, I didn't have to make a comment. I just said, are parents aware this is happening in your school today? And it was one of the worst weeks of my life. Because these people at that time, I have no idea. It didn't even dawn on me that people didn't think like me, that.
Yeah. So were you political at all at this point?
No. Did
you vote?
I've always voted.
Okay.
My parents are very political. And so, when I say very political, they vote. We talked about the importance of voting. I went to vote with them.
So they're good citizens of the United States.
Correct.
They're not out.
Yeah. I went to caucus with them in 2000 when right when I'm 18 and I'm able. So I never paid attention to local elections though. I couldn't even have told you who our Senate and House and, then mostly it was presidential and the bare minimum. Did I know? So that post came out. Oh, and hate that I got. And when it comes from your own community, and I didn't know a lot of people either. I mean, I knew the people that were in Cooper sports with him and the people in his school, but it was, you're a racist. I mean, I can't even tell you. That page ended up getting shut down after this post because it was the most divisive post there was out there. It was interesting because very few people on that post would speak out and talk for me. I would get a lot of private messages behind the scenes. Hey, I agree with you. Hey, I don't want to speak out. My kids are in sports. Hey, I don't want to speak, so there was this, and I went, wow. Even people I thought would defend me were pretty quiet.
What you say it was the worst week of your life, though. So just because people were calling you names online?
One of the worst.
Okay, you got to see it.
Yeah, it is interesting. I think the most is when it comes from the people in your own community.
Yeah.
And there was no dialogue. I would write back, well, I think this. Well, you're a racist, and move on. There was no dialogue back and forth. And I realized you can't accomplish a whole lot on social media.
Problem number one.
Right. So having those conversations in person, but those are never going to happen because there are a lot of people, probably the people commenting on this post right now.
I can't even imagine what's happening right now.
They're not listening to the words.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, there's a white woman from Iowa. She's clearly a racist. And that's all anyone cares about. No one wants to have the dialogue.
Was there anyone in there? Because this is the worst. This has happened to me. I most of it I can let roll. And then there's somebody that you know.
Yeah.
And you see them. And there's times that I'm like, I thought we were friends. We sat next to together at church last week. Why wouldn't you pick up the phone and call me and ask a little and have a conversation about this? Something, anything. Instead, you just say that on social media about me. Like,
right.
Our kids played together. I brought you dinner when you were sick, or you brought me dinner when what did you have any moments like that?
Not on that particular post. I didn't know many people, a lot of these names, I will say, I called my son's dad and I said, hey, this is what happened. This is what I said. I don't believe that our son is his skin color. And, I read him some of the posts and I'm like, am I a racist? Because I post this article and he said, are the women commenting and calling you a racist white women? And I said, mostly, yeah. He said, well, half more than they do. So keep moving. And we both, he has very different experiences than I, right?
Of course.
But we both believe that we raise our son to have good character, to be a hard worker, and the options are limitless on what he can do. So, in fact, I think it's very racist to be telling these kids that they have less opportunity or that they're a product of the past. And so that's where am I a racist is, right? I called and asked that question, am I a racist? And he confirmed I am not.
He's the official word.
Right.
And I just think it's so fascinating because during this time period of George Floyd and Black Lives Matter marches, this is all kind of the same couple of years of things that were happening. The intent was of all of this to make everyone's, if we're being, for giving them credit, the intent in some of this stuff was to make people all question, like make sure you're looking inside and making sure you're not a racist. And you're like, okay, we can all take a minute to do that. I don't think there's a problem there. The true intent behind this is to divide. It's to divide by the color of your skin, which is the actual meaning of racism.
Right.
And so I think and you referenced this before, that some of our Black members early on, Keisha King out of North Florida, I think she was on Fox News or something.
She's the reason I started.
Keisha's the reason you started?
I saw her on Fox
I'm not
News.
the reason you started.
No, sorry. It was her.
Yeah, she went viral because I think her daughter was put in an assembly that divided the students by race, put the white students in one assembly and Black students in the other assembly, told the Black students they were victims, told the white students they were the oppressor. She lost her mind.
Yeah. That must have been it was one Saturday morning. I remember I have Fox on and I saw Keisha King speaking with a navy and white Moms for Liberty. And I went, wonder what this group is. I think I need one of those t-shirts. So, and look at me now.
It's so great. It's so great. Keisha, I met at an event early on. I mean, we were just maybe a month old, and I was driving around the state, loading up my car, talking to groups about Moms for Liberty and what we were trying to do. And I spoke to a group in Duval, and she was there, and we had some great conversations. And so that's how I knew her. And then I saw, I think what started all that is she spoke at a state board of ed meeting about critical race theory. And I said, do you have a Moms for Liberty shirt? I don't know how we got one to her, but I was like, the meeting's this morning at 10. Here's a Moms for Liberty shirt. And she's like, oh, I'm going down there. I got to tell something, she was so mad.
Yeah.
And so she popped that shirt on and went down there. And the next thing you know, it was like internationally viral. And so then she got on Fox News and all these other things.
Well, and then you got Iowa. So
yeah.
So yeah. But you asked, I went off in a tangent.
Yeah,
which
me too.
I do
Me too.
Mostly. But about a post or somebody saying something bad.
Yeah.
What really got me, there's a lot, I don't know if you know this, there's a lot of groups out there that don't like us. And
let's pause for a second. There are actual groups that have been created, and their sole mission is to destroy Moms for Liberty and Moms for Liberty members. It's actually a really serious thing. We've had to send out some legal notices and letters to cease and desist in some places because they were collecting not just members' names, addresses, and phone numbers, names of their children, names of their spouses, started calling their spouses and their jobs, trying to get them fired. And so, and I know that was happening in Iowa.
Yeah.
Some of these groups, we found their Google Docs, somehow they were public, and they were collecting this data to harm members of our organization. And so you've been part of that.
Yeah. So I sell flooring, and I have that Moms for Liberty decal on the back of my car.
Love it.
Yeah. I do
loud
too.
and proud.
I do too. So I have that decal on the back of my car. I remember going to measure somebody's house for flooring, and the husband went to help me carry samples out, and we opened my trunk, and immediately his attitude changed towards me. And I pulled out of the driveway and went, well, there goes that one. So the next day, though, I start getting text message.
Did you take the decal off the next day?
No. Next day,
I know you want to get to your story,
yeah.
but why not? A lot of people at that point would say, this is my livelihood. I'm going to lose a customer here and potentially other customers. And this is also a problem in America right now. And so I'm going to just take this off during the workday or always, because I need to you're a single mom. I need to feed my kid, basically.
Well, back then it would have been easier. I had the magnet. Now
now you have the actual decal.
Yeah, it's not coming off.
Which, by the way, you can get in our store. Our merch manager is going to love this at momsforliberty.org/store.
Yeah. I have the one that says Moms for Liberty. Shelly in Dallas County, she has the Liberty head.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, maybe I should go with a little less. Less out there.
So why'd you? Well, you say you're going to joke and say I kept it on because it's too hard to take off. But no, that was a conscious decision.
At that point, I didn't.
Oh.
And my dad told me to take it off, and my work told me to take it off. And James Lindsay in my head was like, "Do not take that off. That is Marxist." And I'm
trying to get you to silence you and to comply.
Yes. And I remember. So I get called to HR.
You're a little obstinate.
Yeah, no, I got called to HR, and they were like, well, maybe you should take off.
You got called to HR for a sticker that said Moms for Liberty on your car.
So the next day I'm back in the office, and I'm like, okay, I'll work on a bid for them and send it to these people. So I'm doing their flooring bid, and a friend texts me and said, who is this name? And I'm like, that name sounds familiar. It's the bid I'm working on. Well, she had made a post in a local group that said, do you know this person? Jenn Turner works at such and such business. We all need to start a letter writing campaign and calling and saying she has a Nazi, racist, homophobe working for them. And they were sending me the screenshots of the comments. And one of the comments said, I feel so bad for her son. She totes him around like he's a prop. And I went, and 2 comments down, my manager had commented. And she was a friend. we eat lunch together. Like, and she didn't participate in the he's a prop, but she participated in the hatred conversation, trying to defend my place of work and how horrible I am because I'm a this supporter or that supporter. And I was just thinking, like, but you know me. You've known my son since he was 2 years old when I started working here. You've watched him grow up. You've seen my struggles. You've seen all these things, and you know I'm a good mom. And at that point, just because our political views are different, the fact that she couldn't even defend me and my character, that was the stinging part. And I never even said anything to her. I just went on about my business. But so yes, then HR calls. I go talk to HR. My bosses are like, maybe you should take this off your car. And I'm like, nope, no. And if those people in the driveway that day that I had put the samples in there had just asked me a question, I'm going to guess, because at the end of the day, when we do have the conversations one-on-one with people typically leaving going, yeah, we may not agree with everything, but she's not a bad human. But people are too scared to have that conversation. So instead of asking me about it, they put a post on social media and want to destroy my life. But they're not going to.
Are you still at that job?
I'm not. No. Nope. I stayed for a while. But constantly walking on eggshells.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I show up in the news and I'm trying to stay in the background, like I see it, because I just didn't want to have the uncomfortableness with my manager. So no, I've left, and I'm very happy.
You're happy at your new job?
Yeah.
Good. It seems to be a serious problem, though, in this country. We're self-dividing, we're self-separating. We had Sarah Garriott on last week's episode from the state of Washington, tearfully talking about how every day the conversation is there. Who's moving? Who's leaving now? Is it our time to leave? Should we leave today? Because it's just gotten unbearable, the political divide.
I know. I was screaming, there's room in Iowa when she...
Oh, you were?
We'll take you.
Yeah, she listed Idaho and some other, but she never said
Iowa.
Iowa.
I saw that.
Yeah, because I think the weather in Washington is bad, but Iowa, I've not been to Iowa, was at the Iowa State Fair with you too, which was also a fan, but I've never been anywhere hotter. And I was there in February and I've never been anywhere colder.
Right,
so
we have all the extremes.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you guys can endure. So, just thinking about the divide in America, though, like we've got to stop that. We've got to mend that. People are self-separating by jobs and by states and by...
It starts with our kids, though. It starts with these kids in elementary school and us teaching them that America is founded... America is a racist country, and that's how we were founded, and how much to hate this... we start then. I'll fast forward, and I'm probably going faster than I needed to, but this fits in. So I'm in the activism world for like a year. We don't know what we're doing. I'm like, hey ladies, we're starting a Moms for Liberty chapter. And they were like, cool, Jen, we'll join your club. And we got a box of t-shirts, some constitutions.
Sounds like the actual founding of Moms for Liberty. I ordered that box of t-shirts.
So yeah, we got some t-shirts and went to a couple of events and had no idea what we were doing. But, we start showing up. We're speaking at school board meetings. We're doing all the things. And a year, so it's 4th grade is the kids play about racism in the Post. Then I start the chapter. And a year later, I get a call from Cooper's teacher.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I thought he was a good kid.
Yeah, I know. And she says to me, Cooper walked out of class today.
Whoa.
Excuse me? I said, my kid's the one that doesn't like attention on him. And she said he was very respectful. We started reading a book called Black Brother, Black Brother. And the beginning of it talks a lot about race. I don't know anything at that point, right? And she said he got up and went out and sat down, and I went and asked him what was going on, and he said, my family just doesn't believe this. My family doesn't believe people hate me because of the color of my skin.
Hold on, just let that sit for a second. He's how old?
At that time, 10. Right, then you go, this is This is why we do. But here's the part of the story I'll forget to leave out. She says to me, he can continue going outside the classroom as long as he's feeling uncomfortable. And so I tell him, we have the conversation. And the next day I asked, did you go sit out in the hallway? And he said, yeah, today Michael came with me. So the second day, his friend, a white child, gets up and goes and sits because they don't care. Those kids don't care what color their skin is or what their friend's color. They're playing soccer and basketball and all these things. The ones that are making them feel a certain way are us teaching them that they should because of the color of their skin. And so I always leave that part out, that the next day his friend went with him. But that's an important piece of that.
I'm curious about the teacher. What did she learn? I mean, you can't maybe not answer that, but did she learn anything?
We had a little bit of a conversation. I went home and I downloaded Black Brother, and want to see what it's about. And she said the beginning is difficult because there's a lot of race conversation. And as it gets to the end, it gets more about, this was 4 years ago, Taekwondo. I feel like he was like it gets more into the martial arts part or whatever sport it was, and not so much of the race. But in the first chapter, it's this black brother and two black brothers, but one is very light skinned and one is very dark skinned because they have biracial parents. And the whole school hated the darker brother. And they were at a private school. It even went as far as to say, I remember seeing the secretary of the school was frightened of the black brother. And I said that to the teacher. I said, do you believe this? Do you believe this is happening at this elementary school, that the secretary would be frightened of so it was really, and so she acknowledged it, but that's what they were doing. So if we can give our kids the voice to respectfully stand up for themselves, get up and walk and sit out in the classroom, and hopefully they have a teacher that respects that as well. I think there's the divide in the country, but we can fix it.
I love that we can fix it. I'm older than you, but when I was young, it was all about the melting pot. There were graphics, even like Sesame Street, Sesame Street. I don't know if you've been watching what they're doing right now, but if Sesame Street back then wasn't woke. And they always talked about the melting pot. There were pictures and graphics of everyone coming together. And I grew up in upstate New York. And so even some, New York is like the heart of the melting pot. Everybody came through in the early 1900s, through the mid 1900s, through there from different countries. And everybody kind of assimilated to being American. It was something we celebrated. And I'm older, but still by the time I went into kindergarten, integration already had happened. So for me, from day one, and honestly, I lived, not a whole lot of people know this about me, but government housing, i.e. the projects in my youngest years. And so all kinds, like everybody, that's a melting pot of a melting pot. And so the brick not a compound, the units, the housing units, the center was a huge playground. And so all the kids all the time, we just were playing in the center there. And so I didn't see or know race. Everybody was just my friend. I didn't know there was a difference because of the color of your skin.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, like I said, you're younger, but
not that much.
Yeah, really.
I'm 43.
Oh yeah. Still, that could be a big difference. Like look at the last 5 years, what's happened in education.
Things are just going faster now. All the things, social media, all the things. But yeah, we came from, before I lived in low income housing, before I moved into the house I am right now. Same thing. Kids are everywhere. No one cared. Mm-hmm. But I'm watching all of these kids grow up and they don't care about the color of their skin. That's the bottom line. I don't know.
No, it's great. So you are now an activist because of the race issue, basically.
Right.
You've seen that schools are teaching it in a way that's not helpful. Your own fifth grader, Cooper, stands up in class and says, I'm not, we don't believe this. I don't think people hate me because of the color of my skin, and walks out.
Here's the thing too, though, but this is the thing. All these I can't even see the comments on the Facebook but I know what they are, right? We're still
Right now.
racist.
Right
yeah.
now,
Yeah. You know, you know what everyone's going to say, and everybody's a racist, and now I'm lost for words here when I think about the Facebook post. When I think about the Facebook comments.
I have a question for you
yeah.
then. Do you think you're a racist?
No, I don't.
Why?
Because I don't care. I mean, I don't care about the color of anyone's skin. And I don't think anyone has more or less opportunities. I got it. I found my thought again.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely believe that racism does exist in the world today.
I think it's important to mention that.
Right. I mean, it absolutely does. Every one of these posts will say Moms for Liberty wants to ban the history and whitewash America. And yeah, no, I absolutely want our kids to learn how America started. And we're like the greatest comeback kid story there is. And so we want them to hear the true history, but we don't need to raise them to learn to hate this country and that it's still the racist country that there is. Are there issues out there? Absolutely. And I don't think we should hide those. But teaching our third graders or second graders that they should be ashamed of the color of their white skin or feel bad because their skin is black and that they may have less opportunities than their white friends, that's where we're failing them. That's where my activism started. I don't want any kid, mine or any other. He's got nieces and nephews and, you know, on his dad's side of the family. I don't want any of them to grow up that way. So,
and I just think it's important to point out right now that this story is not unique. We have a lot of moms that came to Moms for Liberty for these exact same reasons. A lot of moms of biracial children that were coming home and saying the same exact things. And so, you know, it's happening everywhere for a reason.
Right.
And it's deliberate and intentional.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're now an activist.
Yeah.
Officially. you get titled. You're now officially an activist.
Yes.
And you've had some amazing experiences, and we're just gonna jump right in, probably to caucus period in Iowa, because anyone that follows politics, a caucus period is wild.
Yeah.
And so
I told you I had caucus, you know, but I showed up and I went to a caucus. I never was participating in the whole.
Okay, for those of us that aren't from Iowa, we have no idea what a caucus is. What does that even mean? What's a
the
caucus?
News doesn't even. I'm like yelling at the news during caucus where they tell us what we do, and I'm like, no, we don't.
What do you do?
Well, the caucus season, where I was first in the nation, for those that don't know,
and for presidential elections. I mean,
yes.
We got to make sure people like this is new language for some of our
Republican presidential, because the Democrats in our state don't caucus.
Okay.
So Republicans have a caucus, and all of the candidates are here for a year or longer.
If you're a Republican presidential candidate, you are setting up shop in Iowa.
Yes. And the actual process of the caucus, we have paper and pencil, and you write down your vote, but we take care of party business, right? When you go into a caucus, I led mine this last one.
Really? Good for you.
Terrifying, because I don't know what I'm doing. They give you a script to read, and it's just your neighbors. So it's within my district. So I'm Urbandale 1. And I lead my caucus, and people come in, and you have to make sure they're registered to vote. They can register to vote right there. We had a lot of people switch. I think they're working switch parties the day of caucus. And then you lead party business, and then people get up and speak for their candidate. So in mine, I let one person per candidate get up and speak. So you have Vivek and President Trump and Ron DeSantis, and everyone gets up and speak. And then you take a
paper ballot
vote. And
this is how they pick the Republican nominee for the presidential election, and in Iowa is the first. We're all eyes on Iowa.
All eyes are on Iowa.
But
and then within 6 hours, they're all packed up in a plane and on to New Hampshire. And Iowa is left in the...
Yeah. But you had a whole year of this caucus period.
Yeah.
So what was that like for you? Because I think people will be shocked to hear some of your experiences during caucus period as a, normal mom, selling floors, single mom who became an accidental activist because of a Facebook post.
Yeah.
What's
it's
caucus
the
period?
craziest. I think it was the first time that I was like, wow, we really do have a seat at the table. Like, why does anyone care what I think? I still don't know why anyone cares what I think, but we really have a seat at the table. This is so stupid. I remember one phone call. My cat got stuck in a tree. I had to call a tree climber to come get my cat out of the tree. And as I'm watching the tree climber climb up to get the cat, I get a phone call from Nikki Haley's campaign team. And they're like, hey, Jen, so-and-so with Nikki Haley's campaign. We really like to, is this a good time? And I'm like, well,
my cat's in a tree.
Can I call you back? It was just the weirdest.
And what did Nikki Haley's team want?
Our support. We'd
Okay.
like moms. And so we were invited to everything. And we got a lot of heat too, because we show up for everything. Number one,
All candidates, like you guys
all
were
candidates.
everywhere. So I just want, well, we can cover this whole period, but one of my favorite stories is you're sitting on the couch one day, just watching TV.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're watching. Doesn't really matter. You just,
I don't either.
vegetable watching TV. Your cell phone rings. It's a number you don't know.
Yeah.
And
I typically don't answer area codes I don't know, right? Car warranty, all the things.
Yeah.
But during caucus season, you answer calls you don't know because it could be, I don't know. I answer the phone. This is Jen. Hey, Jen, Mike Pence here. What do you?
Yeah.
Oh,
Former Vice President of the United States of
Right.
America is calling you.
yeah. Karen and I are just headed to Iowa. Just wanted to give you a call and see how you're doing. And they were
Did you think it was a joke?
Were you
were
like,
are you
what do
pranking
you
me?
say, right? Oh, hey, Mike. It was just so we. I still don't know. I don't even know. And so I was like, yeah. So we chat a little bit about the Iowa State Fair. You were there during that. They did those fireside chats.
Yeah, those were great.
So he was letting me know he'd be at the Iowa State Fair. And
How did he get your number?
I don't know how half the people do. All the different campaigns. Well, so Moms for Liberty is invited. There's another organization. Actually, I think his campaign team, they were out of Iowa. I can plug them. Growth Reading Center. They're fantastic humans. And they, Dana Huss she helps dyslexic readers and does tutoring and all of the things. And they were leading up his campaign. They knew about Moms for Liberty. And so they invited us to a couple events. So, I'm trying to stay out of the camera and the limelight because it's weird at work.
Oh, you're still in the job.
I'm still in the job. And it's weird at work. And they call and ask if I want to go to lunch with former Vice President Mike Pence. I'm like, sure.
Sure, why not?
Do you think you could get some moms together?
Can I do it on my lunch break? Because I literally have 1 hour, right?
Yeah. So I'm like, hey, I'm going to take a lunch break. And I'm thinking, I'm going to try and stay behind the scenes on this. So I'm not, I don't want to tell people who I'm going to lunch with. And I get there and we have a couple different moms from the different counties and we're all there. And they're like, Jen, there's a place card with your name next to Mike Pence. Well, there goes. And then all the news cameras. And he says, don't worry, the news cameras are only going to be in here for the very beginning. And then we'll let him out. Great. So he starts out introducing himself and he says, I have two very special people that I'd like to introduce here. Jenn Turner with Moms for Liberty and your Attorney General, Brenna Bird. I'm sitting on the news
on
with
your lunch hour.
Vice President Mike Pence, myself, and our Attorney General, who he wants to thank for their work in the state of Iowa. So it didn't work out very well to stay out of the limelight on that one.
Did they find out at your job where you were at lunch ever?
No one
reported you on that one?
No one ever reported me on that one.
And so you hosted events for multiple presidential candidates or spouses, I think, if I recall.
We hosted Vivek Ramaswamy. I think he was one of the first. I think we did one of the first events for him in the state.
Really?
We did a Vivek Ramaswamy town hall. At the time, not everyone knows Vivek. We do, because we've read his books. And so we're pretty excited. And we rented a barn. It was a nice barn.
How'd you get the money to rent a
barn?
barn? How did you get the money to rent a barn?
Fortunately, we did get the barn. If you're a nonprofit in my city, You can do one event. It's supposed to be like 4 hours. This thing went really long though. But we used our money and got some food and beverages. And
hold up, that is not a fair assessment, because I talked to you after that. Used our money. I think this is important for people to understand, because we are told that we're flush with money here, that we're funded behind, that we're AstroTurf, we're not real moms and dads, that we have all this money from some big donors.
No, we're self-funded. We used our personal money. We hadn't even really fundraised. I'm really bad at fundraising. It's not my strong suit. My treasurer, Amber Williams, hopefully she's listening, could work.
Jenn, I want you, you told me that you literally used your own funds to buy cookies and treats and such, like out of your personal account.
Oh yeah, out of our personal accounts. That's how we're self-funded.
Yeah.
We've done a little fundraising here and there, but at that time we had done zero, and it was okay, pool our money. If we're going to throw an event, we got to do it like Tina wants it.
No, come on. That's not fair.
Just kidding. No, but
with the liberal milk.
Do we want, liberal milk. No, but we want it to be good too. We haven't done a whole lot of events, and it's funny working on these campaigns, because you get or see the ins and outs, and they're like, I said, I bought tablecloths. I did. I bought navy tablecloths. Everything was like, we'll be able to use this again. I've never used a tablecloth again. A lot of round navy tablecloths. So we bought the tablecloths and we put them all out, and they were like, take those tables down. And his campaign team, I'm like, what? No, you don't want to have enough seating for everyone. We want it to look.
It's all optics.
Yeah, like they don't want people to think that no one showed up. And if you put all these chairs, and as people are coming in, I'm like, we need more tables. So we're frantically putting more tables down. Thank God I bought a lot of tablecloths so we could make it all. And it was standing room only. There were over 100 people in this bar. I don't even know. There's standing room only for people to hear Vivek Ramaswamy speak. And so that was pretty cool.
And I think you had coffee with Casey DeSantis at one point.
I did. I got a call, and it was only myself and a few other people. There were 4 of us, I think. Coffee with Casey DeSantis.
And then President Trump team invited you. I think that was one of your first things.
The first thing was, we got a call to come to Davenport, which is 2.5 hours away from us. He must have just announced he was running, or I don't even know. And I remember, so we all drove 2 hours. We get there and we have our names on seats in the front row. And then they came and got us, and we got to go back and get individual photos with him. I had Cooper and I in a photo with President Trump. So that was pretty cool.
So how do you go from accidental activist to being front and center in a presidential election, really impacting first in the nation? How does that happen? I'm still asking that question. We really are. I do think that parents have a seat at the table now. And this organization has been fantastic at putting parental rights at the forefront of every conversation. That very first Trump rally that we went to in Davenport was the first time he said, we want to dismantle the Department of Education. And we're on our feet. That place was blowing the roof off, right? Yeah.
That was.
He was trying it out, and so it stuck because
stuck.
Because of you guys. That's great. Thank you. Thank you so much for that.
That was, it was, no one, Perry Johnson was also running for president at the same time. Perry Johnson's a businessman out of Michigan. Something happened. He didn't, but anyway, he also had called us very early, and we went to lunch with him, and I asked him what he thought about the Department of Education, and he was very, Department of Education, great.
Yeah.
And I went,
Perry.
Yeah. So his campaign guy came up to me after, and he said, next time you see him, that answer will be different. And sure enough,
you just gave a secret away.
Well,
that's behind the scenes.
But he went and researched it.
Oh,
these people didn't know, and he came back and he said to me, "Hey, thanks. I haven't been paying attention to this."
Yeah,
there's so many other problems.
Pays
so
attention,
that wasn't at the forefront of people's minds. And he came back and he he gave us credit every speech after that for bringing his attention to the corruption of the Department of Education.
I would say that Moms for Liberty has been instrumental in bringing education and parental rights to the forefront of conversations. Yesterday, as you know, we had a press conference on the steps of the Supreme Court to celebrate Pierce versus the Society of Sisters, which is 100 years ago in the state of Oregon. Supreme Court ruled that parental rights, that children are not mere creatures of the state, and that parental rights are not only fundamental and given to you by God, but they're constitutionally secured. But I think conservatives for a few decades have been trying to figure out what to do with these education problems and the power of the teachers' unions. And so as I'm reflecting on our organization over the past few years and why it's just been like a firestorm and why you get plugged into things like that, is I think they finally saw, here's a group that is going to, this is their issue and they are not going to let this go. They are moms. And so let's work with them and try to maybe actually save and help education in America.
Right. And when you boil it down, the future of our country rests on our children. And I remember starting a chapter. When I started a chapter, you do an interview, right? A phone interview. Hey, why do you want to start a chapter? I interviewed with Marie. And I said, she asked why I want to start a chapter. And I said, I kind of feel like a sellout. And she said, why? I said, well, I'm considering taking my child out of public schools and putting him in private. And she said, you're not a sellout. Our country's future, 95% of the children are going to be in public schools. It's going to be who your child goes to college with, who your child marries, who our future leaders and bosses are, like
who the voters are. They're going to select leaders.
Right. And so it wasn't a sellout to move and to continue fighting for public education. We have to do it.
We do have to do it. That was said perfectly. So let's talk about some of your other amazing wins, because I've seen pictures with you and Governor Reynolds of Iowa left and right. You've had some election wins. You've had some election losses too that have been hard, I think, for you guys.
Yeah, thanks for that.
I'm sorry, but we gotta cover it all, the whole gamut. And by the way, you haven't cried yet, and so that seems to be a thing on the Fire Liberty show. There's usually a tear or two.
Did you ever see the movie Jerry Maguire?
Yeah, of course.
At the very end, he's on that news podcast, or he's on a news, and he was like, everybody always cries on this show, Rod, you're not going to get me. And so I've been playing that back for like the last week.
Are you serious?
You're not going to get me. I'm not going to cry, because this organization's made me like an emotional wreck in happiness, Jamie Hinkle sent me a photo of me crying leaving Summit last year of like, I have to leave my friends. I'm like, could you delete that from existence?
Yes. So before we get in and we wrap up with some of your final big wins, let's talk about the people, your people in Moms for Liberty.
Well, I have people all over the state, or all over the country, people that I talk to every day. Iowa, I don't know how every state is, but when people come for caucus, they say that Iowa is like the grassroots capital of the world. There are so many grassroots groups out there. I don't know how I got the best.
You've got some great people
in Moms for Liberty. I mean, it was like God was like, well, now you need Terry Patrick, and now you need, and just started placing these people.
Sam and Amy.
There's so many. Sam, Amy, Amber, Pam. I mean, there's so many.
I mean, and it's all unique skills, talents, and abilities. And I'm going to say this for you. Everybody comes together and you guys bring to the table all these different skills, and you're so good at respecting each other and giving each other the task that goes with their skills.
Right. Yeah, no, we are. And I would say that we're an anomaly on the rest of the country. I don't know how everyone else works. In Iowa, we do operate as one. We do have our individual school districts, right? But at the end of the day, we're in constant contact, and we show up at each other's school board meetings. We show up at each other's meetings. I mean, it's a team effort. And I guess that's the Iowa nice.
It is the Iowa nice. But nationally, you've built some pretty strong friendships too.
Phenomenal.
At Summit.
Yeah.
Summit is a great time.
I know. I can't. These feel like they're getting further and further apart.
They are, because last year's was in the summer and this year's is in October. October 16th through the 18th, momsforliberty.org/Summit25. Tickets are on sale now. You don't want to miss Summit.
You don't want to miss Summit. I've been to all of them.
Yeah.
Tampa was just myself and Terry Patrick, just the two of us. And now I don't know if anyone knows this about me. I'm a pretty competitive person. So now I'm like, Iowa has to have the most people at Summit.
And you always have to travel not the furthest, obviously California and such, but Iowa's it's not close either. And we keep holding them on the East Coast. And again, we're back in Florida this year. So we're excited. We are very excited about Summit, but let's talk about your friendships nationally, because last December, if you're comfortable sharing this story, this touched the heart and went kind of, viral, at least through our channels and our supporters. And a lot of tears were shed over what happened last December.
Now you're going to get
I'm trying to get to the tissue use.
My washer broke. And
your washing machine.
My washing
machine. Where you wash your clothes broke.
Yes. Okay. Do people not know it?
I'm just like, you just said it so fast. People are like, why are you talking about a washing machine?
My washing machine broke. I tried to get the most out of this washing machine that I'm pretty sure I bought off of Craigslist a number of years ago. And I didn't have the money to replace it. It's Christmas time. And so I had been going to the laundromat often, which is a pain. One morning I would go at like 6 a.m. on Saturdays, right, to get it all done before the masses come out to the laundromat. So I remember taking Cooper, like, hey, you're awake. You want to go to the laundromat? He's like, sure.
Single mom life.
And then he was like, we took a basketball and it's like November, so not super nice. And Cooper and I are out in the parking lot dribbling a ball. And he's like, this will be a really great story for my book later in life. My mom was so poor that I had to go with her to the laundromat. Well, anyway, I was saving money. I was door dashing on the weekends, but then I'm spending the money I'm door dashing for. It just wasn't. And so a few of my friends had put together. We're gonna get a washing machine for Jen, and then they called my Iowa people and said, "Do you want in on this?" And Amber's who our dark money treasurer, she's like, I was like, what would Jen do? We have to raise more than the national girls are. So anyway, they were in constant contact behind my back for weeks and surprised me with a brand new washer. So that day we had actually gone to breakfast to do, we wanted to tip a server big. And so
I forgot about this part of the
story.
So
we went to a restaurant.
Wait, who was in charge of tipping the server really big at Christmas time?
I wanted to tip a server. I had a life in restaurants.
Seriously. Yeah, I know, but let's just
listen
to me. Take a minute. Like, you're talking through this like it's nothing.
I know.
You have no money. You have no washing machine. You're hauling your kid out at 6:00 on Saturday mornings to go wash your clothes in a laundromat, and you are taking up collections to give a server a big tip.
Right. Yeah.
That's remarkable.
It's very cool.
Okay.
But it just is what we do. So I was a server for a very long time. And I just thought something that we can do to give back at Christmas. It's small. It doesn't take a lot of money. So we do that. And my friends were like, we need to stop by your house after.
How much did you give that server?
I think we had like $300 is what
was her tip for serving you guys breakfast on a Saturday morning.
And she ended up being, when we sat down, little Patty and
now the
teacher,
chair of
Patty was her teacher, this server's teacher.
Oh my goodness.
And now she was a special ed teacher in the same district that Patty was her teacher. I mean, like,
gosh, a God
and people
moment.
It was totally a God moment, because people kept saying, what restaurant are we going to? And I was like, I don't know. It hasn't hit me yet. I'm just waiting. And then all of a sudden I was like, I know where we need to go. So we go to Machine Shed. Is that a very Iowa named restaurant?
Yeah.
And it ends up being a former teacher of Patty, who's a special education teacher, and she tears of, you guys can't be serious. It's Christmas time.
$300 to a server for a tip is beautiful. So then you guys leave the restaurant and you go home.
Yeah. My friends were like, let's go out. Sure. It's 9 a.m. Why not? And they said, we need to stop by your house. Oh, because one of the husbands was just conveniently wanted to go to my house to fix my faucet. I had a broken faucet also. And so Amber said, hey, we need to go.
But they were really bringing in your washer and
fixing my faucet.
And a washer and
and a
and a-
$500 gift card.
And it wasn't a dryer though, too? Didn't
No,
it? Oh,
I just,
they did a washer and a
washer,
gift card and fixed your faucet.
And
Okay.
a brand new faucet. And yeah, all the things. I mean, there's video too when I go down and he tells me there's a leak in my ceiling. And I was like, where? And I didn't see this washer with a big, huge red bow. Anyway, tears.
No tears today, though.
I know. I just.
All right, we're going to go through some quick things here that I just want to make sure we hit on before we wrap up. The hate. Some of the worst hate you received.
I don't know where to start. Well, probably
How about with your tires?
Well, I did have a tire. I think I work on a campaign for my friend Eddie Andrews.
Volunteer.
Yes, I volunteer.
Yeah, you say work like you.
Yeah,
got
no,
got
I
another
don't
job.
work. No,
Yeah.
there is no. I volunteer for my friend Eddie Andrews. He's a Iowa House state representative, and he sent me a text and was like, "You won't believe it. I just walked outside and my tires have been slashed." And I looked at the text. I was on my way into the doctor's office, and I was like, well, "That sucks, bro." And I walked out and my tire was slashed. My dad sent me a text that night because Eddie posted it on his social media, and he just said an associate also had her tire slashed. Now, I don't have proof.
Yeah.
Could just be a coincidence
No, not
that
really.
within the same half hour, we both had our tire slashed. And my dad sent me a text and was like, "I can't believe somebody slashed Eddie's tires. I sent him $100 donation."
You're
And I
"Dad,
send like a
send me."
screenshot and I send him my tire and said, "Meet his associate."
Aw.
So, but people in my chapter raised money, got me a new tire.
Taking care of you.
This is like
Taking care of you.
constant raise money for Jen.
No, it's not true. And then you received something in the mail.
Yeah,
A glitter
that
bomb,
was
it's called.
a glitter bomb with a baggie of gummy penises.
That was nice.
Yeah.
That was nice.
I keep them.
Why?
They're
Why?
It's like a trophy. Like the fact that people would spend money
Yeah.
to send me gummy penises. So my mom gave me a Rush Limbaugh cup, and they're tucked nicely
Oh, that's
inside there
nice.
as a
That's
trophy
classy.
on
That's great.
my desk.
You know, you are the ultimate joyful warrior. I just, I opened this up saying that you won the 2023 Joyful Warrior Award. And I think everyone now can see why. I feel like you are a struggling single mom who is an excellent mom, who has become an accidental activist, who's had impact on presidential elections now. And let's just close with like some bullet wins at your legislative level, because honestly, we could have spent a whole hour on those. What you guys have accomplished legislatively in Iowa is remarkable. Let's just list some of them out that are your top
Number
favorites.
one, Samantha Fett, our Warren County chapter chair, was elected to State House of Representative and was made vice chair of the Education Committee.
Right out the gate, which
So-
that shows the impact of the work you guys have
Right.
been doing.
And she's incredible. But even before she was elected, so we had SF 496, which was the Parental Bill of Rights. It had stuff about the books, the pornographic. It's very detailed on what is not allowed. And
Excellent.
so that's amazing. My favorite one, we always get this hate about how much we hate teachers or public education.
Which is untrue, by the way.
No,
That
it is
false information.
It is
fake
so
news.
untrue. And the amount of teachers that we have reaching out to us to ask for help that have to stay very quiet. We were hearing about how hard the classrooms were. And I text my friend Eddie Andrews one Friday night and said, "Hey, what if I could get some teachers together to tell you what's happening in the classroom?" And he went, "Sure." "Hey, how's Monday work?" "Okay, great." So I wrangle these teachers together, and we have 18 teachers show up to talk about, it was over 2-hour conversation at the Capitol. And from that, HF 604 was built, which was the Teachers' Bill of Rights, on how teachers could take back and take control of their
You hear that,
classrooms.
teachers, if you happen to be watching Jenn Turner right now in Iowa, the chapters worked with the legislators to get a Teachers' Bill of Rights passed. Work with your chapters of Moms for Liberty. We love teachers. We can help advocate for you. We find that actually a majority of teachers agree with the principles that Moms for Liberty stands for and want to just teach kids. And we are willing to work with you to get the politicalness out of classrooms. if
We're
that's
also
where you
really
stand.
open to listening to them.
Yeah.
There are things that I've thought I've known, and then I have the conversation with the teacher and go, "Okay, all right. We want to have the conversation, and we are open to learning." And I think we don't know everything. And I'm happy to announce that. I don't know everything. So we want to learn from each other. That's how we take back education.
All right. Any other big wins you want to list off before we wrap this up?
Oh gosh.
I know pressure.
I don't know of it. I mean, I know there's
you guys
so
were
many.
standing there with keeping blood out of girls' sports.
Save Girls
You guys-
Sports. That was at the very beginning.
There was one recently that was signed just a few days ago, I think.
We had
some of you
we
standing there.
had 3 of our 5 priorities that had passed this year. There
That's
was
amazing.
yeah.
And then, getting the gender ideology out of the
Code
the civil
in Iowa.
rights code. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother episode.
That
We'll save
is-
on that one. It was a big win for Iowa.
You
And
can have
so-
Samantha Fett on for that
that one.
because she took
Yeah.
that on.
took the heat for that.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay. So forward casting a little bit. What's going on in the future in Moms for Liberty in Iowa? What do you guys want to do? Like, is there anything that's on your agenda, your plate?
We're planning this summer to have our own little retreat of sorts to talk about priorities and going forward into the next year. It's going to be a big election year coming up. We have a governor's race.
Oh, that's right.
And a lot of House seats up. So we're going to dive back into show up for everything.
You guys are great about that.
Yeah.
And so what does a joyful warrior mean to you, Jen, since you are the 2023 National Moms for Liberty Award winner of our Joyful Warrior Award?
What's so crazy to me about the whole Joyful Warrior Award is that I felt so silly about it because I couldn't do anything without my people, right? So that's very nice. I appreciate the award, but I think that the award goes to my people in Iowa because we are a force, we are a team, and I don't know, stay joyful. Defend people that deserve to be defended.
I love that. Defend people that deserve to be defended.
Right. Whether you agree with them or not, we're all people.
Let's end with that. Defend people that deserve to be defended. Your children. Start there. The most vulnerable. And others that deserve to be defended. So thank you, Jen, for joining us today on the Joyful Warrior Show here at our home base in Florida. I'm Tina Deskovich, the CEO and co-founder of Moms for Liberty. We had Jenn Turner today, our chapter chair in Polk County, Iowa. We hope you enjoyed this session. Please follow us on all social media outlets. Like this podcast on Apple and Spotify. Give us a rating if you enjoyed it. Make some comments if you're not a hater. And we will see you next week. Thank you.